He certainly could, and he seems to be very good at it. I'm a little worried about Coach. He posted a video titled "Opening Day and Corinthians," and I said, "This is interesting." He spent about 4 seconds on opening day. He goes, all right, everyone, it's opening day. The Marlins are not very good. We have the Miami Marlins here, and they have not been good in some time. All right, Bible. That was the amount of time he spent on opening day. He didn't talk about it, but for some reason he titled the video that. So we never get back in opening day. And this is mostly Coach HP embarking on a venture that I'm a little worried about. Although, as we'll find, he might have great success in this crew. I just hope he's not taken in by bad actors. You know, I don't want Coach HP to fall victim to any sort of scheme. We always talk about Scientology, but religion in general can be very cult-like, and it seems like the coach is getting into that world. I'm nervous about him.
By the way, Mike, the leader in the clubhouse in the chat is melons, feeders, and chesticles. Just so you know.
I'm glad to hear that.
Okay.
Feeders is pretty good.
Feeders.
I've been obsessed with Corinthians, part of the Bible, Corinthians. For a minute, I am new. I've always believed in God. I've always felt God's had my back.
You don't hear a lot of that these days. Just got turned on to the Corinthians. These guys are really taking the nation by storm. I'm hearing it's Corinthians mania out there, and we will be going to Shea Stadium to see the Corinthians perform.
Sounds like a boy band that we made.
I've not heard anyone say, "You guys seen this? You hear about this? The Corinthians really did some amazing things back in the day. Let me tell you about them."
Immensely, but I haven't been a very good, let's say, Christian per se, because I just have always lived like if God blessed me and then I just live. I don't spread the word of God. I don't talk about anything about God. I just say God bless me, and then I help so many people. But
in a way, I do not need to follow the Lord's rules because I am sort of doing his work for him, you see. I am very Christ-like as it is, so I did not think it was necessary for me to practice the way of Christ.
I do everything but the Jesus ball washing.
If you think we're making a mountain out of a molehill, wait till you hear what this guy thinks of himself and where he stands in the hierarchy of religion.
Actually bring the Bible or bring anything I do into life. Now, I'm not perfect, but I'm very good, especially as a married man. I'm pretty close to a 10 as it can be.
I am not perfect, but I am quite close. I am about as close as a human man could be to perfect. This guy doesn't need saving. He should be doing the saving, as I think people in his religious experience started to realize pretty quickly.
Yeah. Is he in a cult? Is that
you guys tell me. I don't know a ton about religion. I think going to church on Sunday, if that's the life you want to live, I say go for it, baby.
No.
This seems like a little more than that, and I do start to worry when I hear some of the phrasing that Coach HP is using. I think, this is how documentaries start.
If you do go to church, make sure you bring your phone so you can listen to the Blind Mike Project at church.
Oh, of course, yeah. Wait for an afternoon service or something.
Yes, or a break or something.
Yeah.
Swoosh. And I'm rolling with it. But I've been obsessed with, ever since I did Emmaus. I did Emmaus probably 5-6 years ago. And I wouldn't have done it except it was for a very good friend of mine. I had no idea what it was. And he's like, dude, you got to do Emmaus. He set it up for me. He paid for me. He made sure I did everything.
I would not have done it except it was absolutely free of cost for me. Except some other poor sap paid my way entirely. And then I said, well, I suppose I could use a good vacation.
God works best on discount.
How could you let a man pay for this experience for you? It seems so strange. He paid entirely for me, and I feel no guilt about that. And of course, I am Christ-like in my ways.
Is he saying amaze?
Emmaus, I believe.
Oh.
So it's some sort of like religious walkabout. I looked it up, didn't fully understand it, but it seems like something you go to get in touch with religion or God or whatever it is.
Hmm.
And it feels a little like something, maybe the Church of Scientology would have. Or so,
Mhm.
it does feel a little culty to me, but maybe he dissuades us of any of that notion.
The man paid so I can walk.
That's right. Well, there's one set of footprints, and it's Coach HP's. That's the path I've been
And,
following.
and when I was there,
And they're cleats. They're
they
cleat
based it
buttons.
off the road to Emmaus, which is in the Bible, I guess, when something special. is
guess?
based. I haven't even read that,
Yes.
so
What do you
hopefully
mean?
get to that one.
I am not very well versed in this religion. I just take free trips when they are offered to me.
It was
I
a walking trip. I could not turn it down.
I was more in it for the hotel and accommodations, but
One
I
day.
couldn't be bothered to open the Bible, despite completely being rejuvenated for religion, as I mentioned.
I opened up one page. It said Corinthians. I fell in love.
But you spend 2 days. It was a Friday. You get to Friday, Saturday. You get out of there Sunday.
We
No
understood.
cell phone.
Well,
no
let me explain what days are to you. If you start on a Friday and it takes up 2 days, then you have Saturday and you have Sundays when you leave. That is
Some
typically the
could be
2-day
weekend.
weekend cycle.
contact with the outside world at all. And it's literally people sharing their stories, their testimony.
So if you missed
Of
that, I
their-
talked over it a little bit, but no contact with the outside world. So you're on this walkabout in a group that he will explain the demographics of in a moment. You have to turn in your cell phone and completely be detached for whatever length of time. Get a little creepy vibes, but let's continue.
their life and how it goes and about this and about that. And the one thing I picked up from that was that my life is extremely blessed the way I turned out. People, and it's all guys, by the way, so it's all guys. Dudes were talking about their stories of this and that, and man, was it tough. Whether it was stories, listen, I came from abuse, but it was through a sport, and I felt like it really helped me. I'm one of the few that I think it, I don't know how, it like unlocked super positivity, you know? Plus, my dad never really spoiled me, so it was the complete reverse. So I'm super grateful for everything I. Swoosh.
So he has no reason to be there. He has a perfect life. He didn't sacrifice anything to get there. It was free of charge to him and everything. And he's like, it's all dudes, which is very important. The bros got together and we walked through the woods and they all shared stories, what brought them there and everything. And my only thought was, man, I am perfect because none of their lives compared to mine. I am much better than all of these men in every aspect. So what you're saying is you didn't need this experience. All it did was boost your ego even to crazier heights than it already was.
I now go to AA meetings to get the same experience.
Oh,
I just listen to the
what a
terrible stories.
rush. When I hear a young girl woke up in a gutter somewhere, I think, oh, how blessed am I that I do not have that experience. When I hear of straight men sucking dick for heroin, oh, the satisfaction I feel that is not my life. It is a great pleasure to me.
Paul is this next one.
This is insane. If you don't know who Paul is, it's the first thing you thought of when religion was brought up. Yes, he compares himself to Paul here. If you need further explanation, Coach HP, take it away.
Swoosh. When I was talking to the group kind of compared me to Paul. And you're like, man, you're just like Paul. Paul was this way, even though I think Paul was very aggressively into violence. That wasn't my case at all. But but he became one of the strongest gospels ever. Gospels or apostles.
There you
I think he said apostles. Apostles ever. And I became like, well, it really stuck with me. Oh, this Paul guy I liked, you know? And then I saw the movie of Paul, coincidentally, that came out with Jim Caviezel, which was awesome. One of my favorite movies.
I don't think that's what that was, by the way. Is he talking about the Passion of the Christ?
Caviezel has made more religious movies since
Oh,
then,
okay.
so
All
it's
right, so
always
maybe
hard
he's
to
in a
tell
movie
with
of
that
Paul.
guy.
So if you're still a little confused based on context, and you're thinking, Mike, well, we don't know Paul. We can't. There's just some guy named Paul in the group that they all said, hey, you're like him. No. Jesus's apostle, Paul. They all said to me, "You know who you are exactly like? You are like Paul." Now, I assume that means a lot in religion for people to say, "Hey, you're exactly like one of the apostles." And Coach HP hears that information. He's like, "I do not care for all of his methods. Actually, he was a little crueler than I would have been. So I think what you're trying to say is I'm better than Paul. I am sort of a new era of Paul. You know, I'm Paul 2.0." It's like, okay, coach, very good. That I think might be the craziest thing we've heard him say. Is, you know, a lot of people say I'm like Paul, and I think I'm a little more Jesus-like, wouldn't you say?
I just checked. Paul was like the Jordan of the apostles. He wrote like 13 of the 27 texts. He brought Jesus to the Roman Empire. So he's
That's exactly like me
Yes.
when I told David Lucas to keep going with comedy. That's exactly what I was behaving like Paul when I cried and told Brendan Schaub he was a gift to the arts.
Someone needs to tell HP that Paul was also martyred. So, you know, you watch that. Paul could-
Coach, look out.
Yes. Next one called Pictures. Last one.
Okay, so this is a theory he's had for a long time. I don't know if you guys remember this. Actually, there's a playlist of Coach HP where you can go back through the archives. We haven't made a Coach HP playlist. So if you don't know who the fuck we're talking about here, go back to the archive. Well, you didn't stick with us if you don't know who we're talking about. But if you missed some of the early Coach HP coverage, we have a playlist on our YouTube channel. So go check that out. But me and Craig talked about this theory that Coach HP has when he says, you know, we talk about it. If you look at a photograph, who is the first person you look for? Of course, it's you. You look for yourself. But Coach does have one twist on that, and that it's if your wife is a hot piece of ass, like Coach HP is about to describe.
By the way, this is a video I just checked. 14 views. 14 views. Not that it matters, but it is such an interesting fact about HP.
That he's doing it for no one, you mean?
No,
he has a big Instagram following, which I'm surprised.
Okay.
I think he wants to expand beyond that, I guess. But, you know, I'm not going to fault him for that. I say keep hustling if you want to. I respect that.
It would have been funny if he had 12. I'm just saying.
He did, I believe,
disciples.
when I saw this video, he did. So I made the movement grow.
I can only have as many viewers as Jesus had disciples.
Yes.
Pictures. There we go.
Swoosh. And it's usually nobody because everybody's worried about who? Themselves. We've said this a bunch. Somebody takes a picture. You guys take a picture. Who's the first person you look for in the picture? You look at yourself. See how I came up with. It'd be weird if you look at how your homie came up with. I sometimes, you know what? If every time I'm in a picture of my wife, I always check her out. You know? Because my wife, to me, is so beautiful that sometimes pictures don't do her justice. And it's like the
I
weird
check her out
angles.
to see what a dog she is looking like. I say, if only you saw her in the bedroom, you know. These clothes, they may look good on her now, but they look a lot better on my floor. You know what I'm saying? You don't understand the beauty. So if you look at a picture and you don't think my wife is up to snuff, I assure you, she is dynamite in person.
I don't even think Paul had a wife, so I am already up on Paul.
I'm better than that loser. That pussy, Paul. He didn't get chicks like I do.
Stuff, but that's why I look at my chick first to celebrate her, and then I look at myself, you know. But love. What
a segue. Love. I have nothing else to say other than Paul is a little incel bitch, and he did not get chicks like I do.
Ringo starred us at the end. He peace and loved us on the way out.
He does, like, it is funny because when we heard him talking to that woman that was like the NFL PR person, the way he was talking to her was very flirty. So I think that's why he's like at the beginning, especially as a married man, it's amazing I have not cheated because women just throw themselves at me day and night. And these are very beautiful women. So I am threatened with temptation all the time, you understand? Beautiful gash hurls itself at me and says, "Coach, please take us." And I say, "But I can't, I am married." Much like my guy Paul.
I love HP.
Yeah, he doesn't put out enough
following.
He doesn't put enough content out. I wish he did more. I wish he I don't know. I don't know what he needs to do to get his videos up, different thumbnails or titles or whatever it is. But he should have a greater following of people that are interested in the ways of Coach, because you know he's Christ-like, as he's pointed out. He's not some tag along Paul bitch. He's like Jesus.
Go to blindmike.net for everything Blind Mike. Look at me. I did it. Kragers did it.